and the other logo. You can barely see the white one.
Oh yeah, that one you can't see the website as much.
Yeah, I want to find the black one. That's what I was looking for.
Let's see here. So we are live. I'm gonna open us up in a couple of places on my desktop because it's always easier to see it here.
And Talisha needs to be promoted also.
Okay, let me get her.
So there, Eric, welcome.
Hey, Eric.
Hey, how y'all doing?
Hey, there's Talisha.
Okay, everyone, don't forget to put your city and state in the chat for us. Put your city and state in the chat so we can recognize you.
Cleveland and Florida.
And if you're ready to find out what's going to be happening in the Black Family Wealth Challenge, put ready in the chat for me as well. Put ready in the chat so we can know that everyone is excited to see what's going to be happening. I love it. I love it. I'm going to start the recording again. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the introduction to the Black Family Wealth Challenge. We have so many people in here now. We are restreaming on YouTube, on Facebook, on Periscope. We want to welcome everyone today. We've got Jackson, Mississippi, Frederick, Maryland, West Palm Beach, Florida. Aunt Vivian is saying blessings. Nashville, Tennessee. We've got Hampton Roads, Virginia. Wharton, New Jersey, Cleveland, Orlando, Menifee, California, Detroit, Seattle, Lenexa, Kansas. We have a whole bunch of people saying they are ready. Frisco, Texas. Solomon is saying ready and curious. Well, we are going to lay it all out for you tonight. Chicago is in the house. Stockton, California. Got Jonesboro, Georgia. Yeah, Georgia's a swing state right now. Wow. Jacksonville, Florida, Memphis, Tennessee. We've got Madera, California, Atlanta, New York, Los Angeles, another Detroit, Charlotte, Chesapeake, Los Angeles, Wichita, Kansas, and Chicago. We got more people coming in. Hope everyone is doing well today. So the conversation is about to start, all about the introduction to the Black Family Wealth Challenge, the purpose of it, what we're going to be doing. Before I get started, Talisha, Tawana, Eric, Dr. Keisha, do you have any announcements before we dive right in? Let the family know what's going to be happening for the next 2 months.
Oh, you know what, I guess I want to start to just say, I want to welcome everybody, and definitely I want you to take advantage of this tremendous opportunity. This is going to be a tremendous way to switch up 2020, which has been switching us up on a lot of things, switching up in a very productive manner for the culture. And I'm excited about it. I'm really excited about it. We have a tremendous lineup of educational sessions for everybody. And I tell you, I'm going to be sitting back learning what it is I need to do for my family, because I got to get my life right for 2021 and beyond. You know better, you do better. So I'm going to do that for my kids. So
yeah. And the challenge is a no judgment zone area. So if you just come in, you say, know what, I just want to learn overall and figure out how other people are playing the game, you can do that. If you're like, no, my family is going to have this family bank set up by the end of the year, you can do that too. Yeah. But we want to make sure that we're giving you a great foundation. Anybody else have anything else before I do the presentation?
Just add, this year we've kind of felt like we've lost control of our individuality and independence. And this challenge is a way to claim some of that back. So, like Cherie said, no pressure, no judgment. But if this is something that intrigues you and you want to share it with your family, I encourage you to do just that, because it's going to be an exciting way to bond and to connect in a way we haven't been able to physically do for quite a few months.
Right. I also want to say, if you are single this can be for you as well. If you are single and you one day want to have a family, this can be a great foundation for you. If you're single and you just don't want your family in your business, I understand that too. This, it's about taking the principles that's going to be taught over the next 7 weeks and applying them. So if it's just you and a spouse and your kids, you don't have to invite extended family to this. So I want to make sure that I let people know that as well. We're calling it family, but it can be a family is a very loose term here.
Whatever you make
So,
it, yeah.
yeah. Anybody else, Talisha or Eric, before I get started?
Now, I was just going to echo some of the same sentiments that Dr. Keisha said. This is a very special time. And this is also a very special perspective to view when you start viewing money in group economics from a family perspective. So I'm excited for us to get into it and to, really co-learn this together.
Okay, well, I'm going to get into it. Everybody get your pens and papers ready as well. And so I want to say, now from the UK, but often come to the States and want to create a business there. I'm very interested. Well, welcome. I know it's kind of late there as well. So definitely want to welcome you here tonight. So can everyone see my screen?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All righty then. So welcome to the Black Family Wealth Challenge. This is all about how we can use a little known wealth tool to build 7 figures of wealth, starting with just $100 per month per family member. And you may ask, how did all of this get started? If you are a member of the 10K Project and you were a member of the 10K Project on July 30th, there was a gentleman that came named Robert Cook. And I happen to have known his uncle named Colonel Frank Preston. Colonel Preston and I are a part of a group called Retired Military Officers Association. And I was never a military personnel, but I really wanted to be a part of this group. They had mostly Black people there. It was generals, admirals, colonels, some of the people that had gotten to the highest heights of the military in this country. And the gentlemen mostly had businesses and they would, talk about their businesses. But every month, without fail, every month, Colonel Preston would come in and he would raise this book on the right-hand side of the screen called Family Wealth. And he would say, Black people, it is time for us to get our families organized. I organized my family and you need to do it too. I'm the treasurer of our family and my nephew is the president. And he would say this, he would say it. I've known Colonel Preston for about 5 years. He would say it every single month without fail. Well, one day I picked up the book and I was bored. So, I started reading it and all of a sudden I'm like, wow, is this really what people teach their kids? Because I don't know about your families, but in my family, I came from a great family, but my parents didn't know this stuff. So I read through it. And then the next month I sat down with Colonel Preston and I started talking to him and I started talking to him more and more every single month. And he would say to me, if you ever get a group of people who want me to come and do this presentation about family wealth, I will come. Well, he and his nephew came on July 30th of this year to the 10K Project. They spent an hour and a half with us. It was phenomenal. I know that, some people said they didn't get everything answered, but I believe you got 90% of what you needed. Just a really great start. They talked about everything from them sitting around the table to what they started talking about, how it came about, how they invited people, what happened when things got tough, what they invested in. What they invested in that was good. They actually invested in something and could have made $80 million off of it, but they took their profits early, right? All of these things. And sadly, Colonel Preston died in September. But this is his legacy. And it is my way of honoring his legacy, and all of the other partners here within the 10K Project fortunately got to meet him through the screen as well. So the Family Wealth Challenge started because of this one thing. And it starts with us understanding that we can build economic empires that serve our families for the next 100+ years. One of the things in the Family Wealth book is that families don't just think about this generation, they think in 100-year wealth plans. And that's one of the things that we need to do as well. So we want to think multi-generational. There is a section of the book that says very few families have understood that their wealth consists of 3 forms of capital: human, intellectual, and financial. Even fewer families have understood that without active stewardship of their human and intellectual capital, they cannot preserve their financial capital. In my opinion, and that's the author's opinion, the issue most critical to the failure of a family to preserve its wealth is the concentration on the family's financial capital to the exclusion of its human and intellectual capital. This concentration on financial capital may even cause it to go out of business in just 1 generation. What is the author saying here? The author is saying, number one, if you only focus on money and you don't focus on the human side of family and the intellectual property of a family, then the family business, the family wealth would only survive 1 generation, or could only survive 1 generation. So within the book, they talk about families that are able to have wealth last for decades and decades and generations and generations. So again, this is going to work if you're a family, if you're single, if you want to do it with friends, if you want to do it to benefit your grandkids. I've had a couple of people call me and say they want to do it for their grandkids. Yes, this will work. So you can leverage the challenge to start your family bank in 8 weeks or less. We started off with asking ourselves, what kind of education do we need to successfully do this? So next week, next Monday at 8 p.m., we're starting off with an in-depth overview of the first part of the Family Wealth book. It's going to be me and the other officers. Then the following Monday at 8 p.m., we have a gentleman named Calvin Williams coming on. He's a wealth coach to talk about how do you create a family wealth plan for 100 years. The third session on November 23rd, is about family therapy and estate planning. I have 2 special people coming to talk about that. Esther Boykin is a marriage and family therapist. Some of us have families where talking about money is a difficult issue, whether it is Big Mama or your mother herself or your father, or some of us actually have an issue with a sibling or a cousin that lived with us when they were young, but they're considered part of the sibling tree. How do you handle those difficult conversations with families? So I asked Esther to come on. And then I also asked another woman named Desiree Fisher to come on. She's going to talk about estate planning. Her father, she took care of her father's estate planning a couple of years before he died suddenly and tragically. She has a network of estate planners that understand how to set up estate plans and how to do it from our point of view and our cultural perspective. So that is just before Thanksgiving. Then on November 30th, we have Pete Singh, who is an attorney, and Jessica Smith, who is an accountant, to come in and talk about setup, legal entity setup, and something called governance. Governance is a fancy term for how does it operate. All right. Then on December 7th, we have a friend of mine, Raquel Mack, and another woman, Florice Gregory, coming to talk about tax savings and legal tax deductions that you can take with your family bank. December 14th, Florice, who's the accountant, is coming back to talk about how to set up and read your family bank's financial statements. I know for many people, Anything dealing with financials, you kind of get nervous. This is not a chance for you to get nervous. This is a chance really for you to become victorious and know what you're looking for in your family's financial statements so that you can make it and you can survive. And then on Monday, December 21st, we have Maureen Murat coming. She is an attorney. And then Tamara Tobert-Bush is an expert in credit, business credit, and also some other forms of alternative investments. And they're coming to do an introduction on investing family assets and operating your family bank. So that's an overall overview of what we're doing. That's going to take you through Christmas. Okay, and the total value of that is $697 of all of those sessions. So this is going to work for Black people who want to close the wealth gap. It'll work for families who want to create generational wealth. It's going to work for elders who want to inspire the young people within their families to lead. It's going to work for young people who want to try to convince their elders to set up their estate plans and leave a legacy for future generations. It'll work for wealth builders who want to learn about alternative investments. And it's also going to work for parents who want to teach their kids financial literacy, but need some tools in order to help them do so. We also wanted to add some things into the challenge that would really help and assist you with getting your family banks up and running. So the first is a resource list that we're putting together. Dr. Keisha's heading that up. It's going to include accountants, wealth planners, and estate planners and attorneys that are going to be able to assist you with various aspects. We have, for the most part, we have Black professionals as well, so that they understand us culturally, and we also want to support Black experts as much as possible here. You're also going to get the original partnership agreement that Colonel Preston and his family put together. They spent several months putting it together, but you can get up and running faster by taking a look at what they had. We will say check with your attorney before you use it, but it's just an overview. You also may have a situation where you're looking at a blank screen to send an email and you ask, well, what do I send to people in order to get them to come to the first meeting? We have created a script for that email invitation, and we also have a sample agenda for your first meeting so you can maximize your time together. And if you are not a member of the 10K Project, you will automatically become a member of the 10K Project when you participate in the Family Wealth Challenge. It's a chance for you to access our members-only group within the 10K Project, ask questions, and get the support you need from like-minded people. So, just to recap, you get the original 90-minute family bank interview, you get the 7-week masterclass, you get the Black Family Wealth resource list, you get the original partnership agreement, the invitation, sample invitation and agenda, and access to the Facebook group. Total value of $1,635. And if all it did was help your family get on the same page about building wealth, the question is, would it be worth it? If all we did within the challenge is suggested Black professionals who can work with you and your family to set up the next generations for financial success, would it be worth it? If all the Family Wealth Challenge did was gave you a network of other Black wealth builders that are serious in taking action, would it be worth it? So the value of this, again, the interview that we initially did with Frank Preston and Robert Cook, the 7-week masterclass, the resource list, the original partnership agreement, the agenda, sample agenda and invitation, and the 10K Project members only Facebook group, total value of $1,635. But you're not going to pay $1,635. You get to join the challenge for $100. And yes, current 10K Project members, you are already grandfathered in. So in the next couple of days, I will be sending all current 10K Project members an email so that you can get yourself registered with this. There's no additional registration. We're just going to have some information in the Knowledge Center, give you access to the Zoom link, and give you access to some of the swag that we have that's going to show up, I think, in the next couple of slides here. There is a 30-day money-back guarantee. You are able to come. You're able to listen to the first 4 sessions. If you say, hey, this is not for me, we want to make sure you're happy. So we will give you your money back. But I personally believe with what we have, that we have exceeded and we will exceed expectations with regards to this. And as if this wasn't amazing enough, we do have a couple of bonuses for you. So number one is I have a couple of people who I'm going to be doing interviews with who are Black professionals that are actively doing alternative investments. Now, I will admit these bonus interviews are coming out in January. However, once you get your family bank set up, you are going to ask yourself, well, what can I invest in? What is out there for me? And I have 3 people that I'm going to be interviewing who are going to tell you what they're doing so you can get some really good ideas. And I know I promised in the very beginning that we would have book club around family wealth. We are doing that. Instead of Black History Month, it is Black Wealth Future Month. February 2020, every Tuesday in February, 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time. We're hosting a book club. We're going to go in depth with the family wealth book. Okay? You might think that the information in this book is fluff or it's just for white people, but the truth is this is a book that Colonel Preston and Robert Cook used to organize their family. It's a really good book. There's a lot of actionable, useful, extremely easy to understand information in this book. We're going to talk about it in depth in February. Yes, my first bullet up here, if you want to hide something from Black people, they say put it in the book. Well, you're not hiding it from us anymore. So we're reading the book. So once again, everything we have in here, the 90-minute family bank interview, the masterclass, the wealth resource list, the original partnership agreement, the sample invitation and agenda, the Facebook group for members only, the bonus interviews about alternative investments, and the book club, total value of $2,232. You get it for the within the challenge for $100. We've got swag. That's right. If you join this challenge, or if you're already a member, it's time to act like a family, but think like a bank. Yes, we have hoodies, we have t-shirts, we have women's t-shirts, men's t-shirts, a mug. You can buy one for yourself, one for your family, members, friends, etc. But we're all about getting people on board with family wealth. So participating in the Family Wealth Challenge, you get access to this URL as a member of the 10K Project. And yes, we do have an ulterior motive. We within the 10K Project have applied to the SEC and are finishing our application for FINRA to do something called equity crowdfunding. Fancy term, super simple concept. It is based on the Jobs Act of 2012, which allows regular people to put money into a business in exchange for partial ownership or shares in that business, in those private enterprises. It is regulated by the SEC and FINRA. We've already gotten our check mark from the SEC, and we are working with legal counsel to get approval from FINRA. We're looking to build the largest community of individuals who want to invest in alternative investments, including Black-owned businesses. And the 10K project is a very simple concept. When 10,000 individuals invest $100 each into a business, that's $1 million. The community can start funding its own businesses, create jobs, profit from its own innovation, and build wealth. So that is our ultimate ulterior motive. But we're using the Family Wealth Challenge as a way, first of all, for you to get to know us, and secondly, for us to really have a community of people who want to do alternative investing. So, one last time, repeat, you get the 90-minute family bank interview, the 7-week masterclass, the wealth resource list, the original partnership agreement, the sample invitation and agenda, access to our members only Facebook group, bonus interviews about alternative investments, and Family Wealth Book Club in Black History Month, AKA Black Future Wealth Month, February 2021, total value of $2,232. Today's price, $100. Go to familywealthchallenge.black. That's familywealthchallenge.black in order to participate. If you're already a 10K project member, you are grandfathered in. Again, if you're already a 10K project member, you are grandfathered in. You don't have to do anything else. In a couple of days, I will send you links to everything you need. The Knowledge Center is open. Audrey's putting her final couple of touches on it. You have all sorts of information that's going in there. And if you are not a member of the 10K project, you need to join familywealthchallenge.black. $100 to be a part of the challenge. I see a lot of chatter in the chat here. So before I go any further, Tawana, from a legal point of view, is there anything else we need to say about the SEC FINRA stuff?
No, we are halfway with our application for FINRA. Once we submit that, we'll have a 60-day waiting period. So we'll share with the community once we're at the countdown, because we'll be super excited. We won't be able to not talk about it with you guys. But we're almost there, guys. This is an amazing journey, and we're almost there. And I've got my Family Wealth book. I can't wait. I've already started reading it. And I mean, at one point, my mouth was like wide open on something I read. And I was like, how am I 50 years old and I didn't know about this? Like,
there's a lot of stuff.
Powerful. I can't wait. I'm excited. I want to pay my $100.
Well, you have paid more than $100 in sweat equity, my dear. So I see that there's a lot of messages in here, but I do want to give my co-founders a chance to respond to this, add their extra things in while I go through and read the chat and just make sure there are no like glaring questions that I really need to answer. So Dr. Keisha, you want to go next?
Oh yeah, I'm just so proud of what we're doing here for the community, and I'm seeing just from the chat a lot of people, this is already resonating. And of course we knew this because this is our family. We're like-minded individuals. We're all on the same path. And it's just exciting. Like somebody's saying, this is a no-brainer. This is a no-brainer. Yeah, I'm excited. I'm so proud of this project, and I'm looking forward to learning so much. And it's like you said, Tawana, my goodness, I'm 53, and it's just like good night. I would love to just do better. Like I said, just when you know better, you do better. And I'm learning from you guys, as Eric was saying. I'm looking forward to learning so much more and passing it on, because it's not enough for me to do well. It's about the community. It's about my kids, about their kids, kids, and let's do this. I'm so excited. So excited.
Eric?
So excited.
I mean, for me, this is always about sovereignty. And I am always looking for things that give us as a community more sovereignty. And this is one of them. I've talked before about whenever we look at, structures and how things work, but then we look at problems and we go, well, man, how do we attack that? How do we have a degree of foresight to say, hey, you know what, this will come down the line, but what sort of actions can we take now that would be able to address that, offset that when it does happen? And this is one of those that I believe strongly you could factor into the equation. So really excited to be a part of this.
Talisha?
Looks like we have a few questions that we can get to answer, so I don't want to run out of time.
Well, so one thing somebody asked about the website itself, I'm going to give you the direct link to sign up. So Talisha, if you would talk while I get that for, well, no, it takes people to the webinar, but somebody specifically asked for where to put in their 100. Yeah, so I want to give people that, but I need to log into the site. So yeah, so if you go and talk for a couple of minutes, I can get that direct URL.
We have, sure. Melba, yes, if you just signed up today, you are already within that purview. So all this still applies to you. So that will work. I think Liz has a question with regard to the UK citizenship. Again, you can invest in US-based companies. That's something that you just have to follow your guidelines of your own country, but you will be able to be an investor. As for running the business, if you don't have a US-based business, no, you would not be able to become an entrepreneur on the equity crowdfunding site. So I think I'm hoping that's answering your question at that point.
Yeah, so everybody, I did just put into Zoom, I just put in the link, the direct link where you can go and pay the $100 and you don't have to worry about listening to the webinar replay since you heard us tonight. So you can go and check that out now. And I see some other questions in there as well. So I am going to respond. I heard somebody, Tawana, was that you about to speak?
Yeah, I was just getting ready to say, I'm a big believer of destiny and things happen for a reason. And Cherie, you mentioned the other day that Colonel Preston put this offer out to you, bring some people together and whenever you want to talk about it, like years ago. And the fact that you held on to that precious invitation so that you could share it with this group so that we could all be a part of that. Imagine had you done it last year. Many of us may have missed that, right? Yeah. And so I think I want people to understand we are right where we're supposed to be. We are right here, right now, because we're supposed to be here. And so don't second guess yourself about what the future holds. You are in the right place and you're surrounding yourself with the right people. I mean, when Cherie just shared that, I believe it was on Friday. And I was like, man, that's big deal to know that she got an invitation years ago. And because a lot of times when something great, you meet somebody great, you can't wait to tap into their energy, right? So the fact that you didn't tap right in, that you waited until the right moment, and when the right moment presented itself, you knew it, and it was us. It was the 10K project. So, just keep that in mind, that this is all on purpose. It's all on purpose.
Well, I'll tell you something else that happened as well. So we did the July 30th with Colonel Preston, and I contacted him to say thank you. And the next time I didn't contact him, I contacted Robert to say, hey, give me your address. I want to send Colonel Preston a mask and you too. And that was when I got the news and my heart sank so much. But then I was like, wow, he shared one of his final last moments and what he had been pushing, at least for 5 years since I had known him, longer than that from the group. We have it memorialized forever, And how many of us have, like, my mother was wanted us to take video of my grandmother, but this was before the iPhone was popular and you could, so we weren't able to do that. We have no video of my grandmother, so everything you have is like in your memory, whereas you wish that certain things were memorialized, right? And I'm just so grateful that that Colonel Preston was able to come and that he was able to be received by a receptive audience. And I want to tell everybody, hey, just take a look at this, see what this family did, because we keep hearing about it from the rich families or, the DJs out there, or people who are making $1 million a year. That's not this family. I don't know about you guys, but I can't relate to those families because nobody in my family makes that kind of money. Nobody in my family makes Ice Cube money, right? So, but to know that that family did it for $25. They started off at $25 a month. They went to $100 a month. They never went above $100 a month. And look what they have, you know? So I want to read some of the comments here and then open it up for more commentary. Kim is saying, so generous. I want to promote membership so people can take a part of the challenge. Love your spirit and exceptionalism. Love this book. So yes, this is the point, is we want a strong community of like-minded people so that we have to say it for legal purposes. If we're approved by the SEC, we have, I'm sorry, by FINRA, we already got the check mark from the SEC. If we're approved by FINRA, that we have our community ready to go. We have our community of entrepreneurs, of investors, and everybody gets to come together and we all get to win. That is the point of the challenge. So please let others know. Excellent book club. Yes. Erin is saying, I think you meant February 2021. Yes, I did. Sorry about that. Black Wealth Future book club in February 2021. Yes. I don't think anyone's volunteering to go back to February 2020. Yeah, that's the truth.
Oh, no, I don't know.
Percy is asking, Percy is asking, do we purchase the book? Yes, you will need to purchase the book. It's on Amazon. You know, I'm sure it's other places as well, but it's on Amazon. So yes, you will need to do that. Sandra, I'm not sure, I don't know what the Come Up series with Mark Monroe is, so maybe you'll tell me more about that. Jeffrey's saying SEC has bumped Reg CF to 5 million. So did it officially go through, Tawana? Because I haven't read yet.
Yeah, so today it was announced that it's a go, but it still has to sit for 60 days for it to be truly finalized. So we're getting closer to it.
All right, I've been knee deep in the challenge stuff today, so I haven't come up for air at all.
I love our community though, because like 5 people posted it in the group today.
Yes,
Awesome.
yes. So yes, this is awesome news. We knew that this was coming, and the interesting thing is the crowdfunding industry has a lot of lobbyists that are us, right? But they have a lot of money behind them and they're pushing for these things. Crowdfunding is the wave of the future, and we can participate in it just like any other ethnic group can. So, you know, Taralina, I hope I'm saying your name right. I love this. I'm looking forward to the crowdfunding. So are we, my dear. So are we. We have to say if for legal purposes, if we're approved, but we've hired very good counsel. So Coach Jean, I worked on a few $50 million projects with the SEC. To get clearance from them is huge. Congrats. Alternative investments are great for our culture. Yes, they are. Ryan is saying this is a no-brainer. Coach Jean is saying, oh, you posted it twice. Ryan is saying awesome. And Coach Jean is also saying the SEC oversight is really good. Yes, and more so FINRA. So we were told by counsel that FINRA is the true oversight body. So Narisha saying just ordered the book.
She's not playing.
Yes, look, I suggest y'all order the book, read it over the holidays, and then we read it again in February. So Stephen is saying, are we going to bump our $100 to $500 now that 1 million is now 5 million? That is a fantastic question. No, we're going to keep it at $100 per minimum per investment. 2 different reasons. Number one is the average company, we believe, coming on the platform will not need to raise $5 million, and they most likely will not need to raise $1 million. So that is what we believe right now. If things adjust, Talisha and Eric will tell us and we'll adjust with it. The second is we want to keep this affordable for everyone, including and especially young investors that want to get started. So we want to keep it at 100, but that does not mean that your minimum has to be 100. Your minimum can be $500, but I want to caution people. You need to think about putting this together as a portfolio of businesses that you're putting money into and not just one thing and one hot thing. Okay. We are going to have people if we're approved, again, I got to say that for the legal part, if we're approved by FINRA, we're going to have people come and talk about different ways for you to think about putting your portfolios together of these businesses that are going to be on the platform. But for those two reasons, excellent question. Those two reasons, we are going to keep it at $100. Also, some of you, based on your income, there is a maximum amount that you are able by law to put into all crowdfunding campaigns for an entire year. So we want to make sure that you don't hit that ceiling with just a couple of deals. We really want you to be fiscally responsible, and we want to maximize your opportunities within the businesses that are coming on the platform. Tawana, did you have something to add about that? Because I know that you're very...
The only thing I would add for Stephen is that, you know, people have to understand that these are investment dollars, so they could lose every single dime of it, right? And we have to make that very clear. There are no guarantees with any of these businesses that we bring in front of you once and if we receive our approval from FINRA. So, you know, I love that Cherie, you know, said, you know, if you want to do more, you absolutely can. But $100 will continue to be the minimum, but it doesn't have to be your minimum. Choose wisely, think in portfolio manner, but know that it needs to be disposable income because you could lose it.
Yeah. And that was one of the things that Robert Cook told us, is that they put in $100 a month. That was their bare money. You know, for some of us, it's our going out money. For some of us, it's our Birkin bag money, or I don't know how much Birkin bags. I don't know. Birkin bags are showing up on my timeline. I have no idea. Like, I don't buy stuff like that. I don't know. But whatever your thing is, you know, that's it. So Coach Jean is saying there is so much that have been hidden from us. Yes, that is true. And there's so much that we don't access. So on Friday, I did an interview with a friend of mine named Russell, and Russell buys and sells businesses for a living. He's a business broker. He helps people buy and sell businesses. And he told me of an SBA program that ended in, I think it was September, where they were financing like 25% of the acquisition of businesses that were out there. And then Russell told us, if you had done this and this, then you would have had 50% in equity for a business, and then you could have gone to the bank and gotten a bank loan for the other 50%, and they would have done those deals hand over fist. But the program is closed. I'm like, oh, he's saying it may open up again. Who knows? Another thing is this morning in Black Money Daily. So if you're not listening to our Black Money Daily podcast every day, I suggest you listen to it. It's like 10 minutes of economic news. There is, again, for business owners, there is a program called the Main Street Loan Program or something like that. Main Street, definitely, I think loan program or something like that. Well, anyway, they set up this program with $600 billion. I know it was 600 something, and they've only used 30 thus far. So what the government has done is they have loosened up the regulations for businesses to get access to these funds. When I tell you there are so many programs out there that our entrepreneurs don't know about, that we don't know about as a people, one of the things that Talisha always talks about with us is us being knowledge brokers. And between my conversation with Russell and reading about the Main Street program today, and I did know about that program early on, but now I'm really into it. I really want 10K Project to be a place where people find out about these programs and at least know where to go in order to get additional research. So yeah, Coach Jean, you're right. There is so much hidden from us, but I think that it's a matter of us networking. I always tell you guys, it's not what you know, it's not who you know, it's who knows you. Russell just so happened to be invited to the right SBA webinar where they talked about this. We as a people have got to know the right people and more people, and then be able to come back to the group and say, y'all never guess what I just heard.
Mhm, mhm.
That is how we win.
Yeah,
Okay.
gotta come together.
Chris is asking, where can I order my t-shirt? So Chris, if you are already a member of the 10K Project, we'll send you a link either tomorrow or Wednesday at the latest, probably tomorrow though. George, recently read the book, can't wait to sit down with family to get this started. The book is
Nice.
awesome. Brian, I don't see a button to join, only register. Okay, so I gave you that. Coach Sheen, if you guys ever need an extra hand or extra expertise, let me know. We always need expertise. Info at the10kproject.com, info at the10kproject.com. Tell us exactly what your expertise is, and we will get you to the right person. Lewis is saying, hey, Lewis, I love that you
Lois.
I know. I love that you keep pulling everything together for us. Y'all are babies. We are babies. I don't know. You're seeing, I think you're the same age as we are. I don't know
like
about
very
that. But hey, if you think I'm 20, then yes, I'll take it. Stephen is saying, y'all got me by 10 years. I'm 63. I still want to know more. So Stephen, now is the time for you to set this up for your grandkids and great grandkids. So yeah. Sally, I'm ready to go. Have already started my family bank. Need all of this education to move it further and start investing. I even have a name for our family business. Let's go.
Nice.
Love
Congratulations.
it.
Huge.
Vivian is saying, that's right. Self-determination, Black economic empowerment, development. Love it. Kim is saying, that is so beautiful. Thank you for highlighting the intention. People are saying, preach, Tawana. People are saying, needed that confirmation, Tawana. Kim is saying she could have kept it to herself rather than keep it to herself, expanded it to everyone.
Talking about
Love it.
In regards to you sharing the information,
sharing the
you could
information.
have kept that to yourself.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah,
I wasn't really sure. Yeah, look.
Yeah.
Look, my resources are the community's resources. But I want it to be with a group of people who really want to go somewhere and want to do something with it. You know, like I'm here, definitely. Chikara is saying, can you share what I missed? I just logged in. Tawana mentioned the kernel and wealth building. Oh, Chikara, you missed the whole lot. You missed it all.
Watch the replay, sweetie.
So what I'm going to do is go through the rest. I see we have a whole lot of messages here in Chicago. The last 2 minutes of tonight, I will re-show you just what we're offering for the Family Wealth Challenge. I believe you're already a member of the 10K Project, so you're already grandfathered in. I put in Charita, I put in the bypass the webinar link. Coach Jean is saying, please add Powernomics to the book club list. Yeah, we can definitely do that sometime in 2021. Absolutely. Kim Hunter, it's official. That's how the Jobs Act got through in 2012, the lobbyist. You are 1,000% correct. 1,000% correct. But here's the difference, or here's not the difference. Here's what I believe we need to do. We don't necessarily need to have our own lobbyists over here. We have our lobbyists join the lobbyists that are currently over there, like working the system, leverage them. But one of the great things about the lobbyists is they know the legislation that's coming down the pipeline before it actually happens and before it hits the news. And that's how people make billions of dollars, because they're in the rooms, they know the legislation in advance, and a lot of times they're putting the rules together for the legislation that is going to be passed. So they're molding it in the way that's going to suit them. We got to get to those tables. All right, so people are asking about the book again. Coach Sheen, crowdfunding helps secure our culture's equity in the projects that we build. This is so exciting. Absolutely, that's why we are here. And we are working to be the largest, the greatest. Maria saying, just put my order in for the book. Fantastic. Better late than never from Connie. Hello. I am working with that program now. We just need to make sure that we have business plans and financial forecasts in place. I guess the program is the Reg CF. Yeah, that's required by the federal government and the SEC. So yeah. Let's see here. Liz is asking, can I get in touch with the business broker Russell, or is that too much to ask? No, it is not too much to ask. He would love to connect with you. If you listen to the replay, which if you're a member of the 10K Project, you get to listen to the replay. I sent the link earlier today in the email. So check the replays. It's the very last entry that we have for the replays, and go to the end and he gives you a website and his information. So yeah, reach out to Russell. He's a good guy. Ebony's saying, just ordering my book with Audible. Fantastic. Percy's saying that's why we have you all to research and pass it on to us. Okay, Percy, I want to request that it's not just us research and pass it on to you, but all of us researching and passing it on to each other.
Information, yes.
Because a lot of the stuff that I hear about is because one of you emailed me, or because I belong to a couple of other groups and they're talking about it. I don't have all day to do research, but either something comes through Google alerts, or I'm in another group, or I'm talking to other people. And it's amazing how much stuff is actually out there that we're just not tapping into. Charita saying, sorry to bother you again. Oh, you're not a bother. Don't even worry about it. Is the $100 for the challenge different from the $100 for the 10K Project? Nope, it's all the same. If you are already a member of the 10K Project, you are grandfathered into the challenge.
Yeah.
Grandfathered in. You don't have to pay any more money. Antoine, yes, your local Black Chamber of Commerce has plenty of resources. Speaking of that, I was on a panel a week and a half ago with the Hampton Roads Black Chamber of Commerce and a couple of other people. I want to say it was in the Hampton Roads area. And they were just given a grant. The Black Chamber of Commerce was just given a grant to disperse to members of the Black Chamber of Commerce for small businesses in their local area. You are absolutely right, Antoine. A lot of us, remember I told you it's not what you know, it's not who you know, it's who knows you. That's going to be my next t-shirt after the 10K Project t-shirt. We are going to do those. That's going to be my next t-shirt for people, because I want you to get that ingrained in your head. If the chamber gets grant money and they don't know you, how much of that money are you going to get? So yes, our Black Chambers of Commerce do have plenty of resources, including money and including access. I moved my family. I forgot to tell you all I moved to EPA, California. Wow, fantastic. Connie, that's great. A name for a family business. We're at the beginning stages of finding a business to invest in. Sally is saying, if your business has several members, does everyone in your business have to be a member individually, or are they members already through your business? So, Sally, that is a great question when the lawyer comes and we talk about governance. So hold on to that question, and we'll make sure that that is answered. Because
is Sally referring to the actual?
I think talking to the bank.
Itself? Is she referring to the family bank itself?
Yeah.
Is she talking about membership in the actual entity, or is she talking about membership with the challenge?
Bring clarity.
Yeah, Sally, give some clarity.
Okay,
I read
get some clarity to that.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, because I thought you meant with regards to the bank itself.
Bank. Yeah. Sally said bank.
Yeah. Chris is saying, you have encouraged me to reach out to my family members. I just don't like babysitting and encouraging people over and over again. So that is why we have Esther Boykin coming in to talk about family therapy. All right. That was specifically one of the reasons, because I am very interested in hearing her discussion, her discussion points about it, and for us to have a real conversation about that. And within the 90-minute presentation by Robert Cook, he addressed that as well.
He talks about that.
He talked about it pretty extensively in what they do.
Yeah.
So,
And Chris, basically what it boils down to is he says you have to go into this knowing that there are going to be people who are going to take on most of the burden, and there are going to be people sitting on the sidelines. And I can tell you, as someone who is a member of a family investment club, hearing him say that, I wish I would have known that a year ago, because that changed my perspective on some of the things that we dealt with in my family investment club. You know, I think going in, you have to have that conversation up front and really talk about it. Because if you don't talk about it, then what can happen is animosities can build, because it's a lot of work, right? And if only one or two people are pulling all of the burden, not knowing that that was going to be their role, that can cause some problems. So, you know, but when he talked about it, I thought, man, I wish somebody would have told me. But he even said, one person is going to do 80% of the work. And that's pretty factual.
yeah.
So if you don't mind being that one person, you can make it work.
Yeah. Well, with him, it was 3 of them that did 80% of the work. But yeah, you have to ask yourself, they also had immense control over the investments and over the bank itself. And he even makes a joke, we're not going to tell everyone everything, especially you, Tawana, because, you know, people have to come in to the challenge to hear the entire 90 minutes. But he had a joke in there about his son asking what's his inheritance and what his response was to his son. So, you know, yeah, I mean, it just is. Carla has a great question here. Can we come to the table as an accredited investment entity, or is that only for individuals? That is within the software, right, Talisha? The portal itself
Yes.
has the
So
rules and regulations with regards to that?
Correct. So when you go to the portal, you come in with specific information that you will have to actually input. Based upon that information, you're toggled through the profile to ask those questions. So if you're individual, you'll need to supply your W-2 information and whatnot, and it will actually gauge how much at that point, because you have to supply this information. If you do not supply it, you will not get access to the site. It will not let you go any further so that you can make the investment. So you do have to provide all the requisite information. Based upon that, it'll give you the maximums and the minimums that you'll have to operate under.
Yeah.
And the rules are a little different for individual investors than for entities and, you know, family banks or investment clubs. So you need to double check what those are. But the accredited investor limits and amounts are different when it's a different entity type.
So we have a ton of additional questions, but I do want to go back to what Chikaro asked and just show really quickly here. One page here. So what is happening is we are doing a Family Wealth Challenge. You're already a member, but for those of you who are not members who want to be a part of the Family Wealth Challenge, you will receive the 90-minute original Family Bank interview that we did with Robert Cook and Colonel Preston. We have a 7-week masterclass where we go from how to create a wealth plan all the way to dealing with conversations about money and legacy with an estate planner and a family therapist. We're going to have lawyers and accountants come to talk about how to set up your entity, how to set up the accounting, how to read your financial statements, things you can deduct once you have a family bank. And then our final week, we're going to have an attorney come and talk about governance and how to invest your family bank's assets. So that's the 7-week masterclass. It's on Mondays at 8 p.m. It starts November 9th, which is next Monday, and it goes through Christmas time. So you get the 7-week masterclass. You also get the resource list of accountants, attorneys, wealth planners, and others who can help you set up your family bank. You're going to get the original partnership agreement from the Preston family. You are going to get a sample invitation for the first meeting as well as a sample agenda. If you're not a member of the 10K Project, you're going to be invited to our 10K Project Facebook group. You're going to get bonus interviews in January from 3 different Black people that do alternative investments. So they're going to talk about the alternative investments that they do. And February 2021, we are going to have the Family Wealth Book Club. So the total value, $2,232. But if you're not a member of the 10K Project, you get in for $100. If you are a member of the 10K Project, you are grandfathered in. That is, Chikara, what we are doing. So we have a whole lot of additional questions in here. I do want to go through. I did see this one from Liz, though.
And you also put in the Q&A that Antoine put in there.
Okay. So I have until 7:30 tonight. So we will be here until 7:30. We're not going to rush off right now. But Liz is asking the question here, how much does it cost to be a member? My concern is I can't be part of crowdfunding. So what will membership benefit me? Well, we have members only. First of all, if you want to be a part of the Family Wealth Challenge, you can just do that, right? For the $100. You also, again, one-time lifetime payment of $100. You also will be invited to all of our members only webinars. So, you know, everything from Russell Logan coming in to talk about how to buy and sell a business, how to use your data to start and grow your business. We had a woman come on a couple of weeks ago talking about how to invest in hotels. We have all of the people coming on to talk about alternative investments and how they do alternative investments. So we have 2 sides of the house. One side is different investments you can participate in, and the other side is how to grow your business. And I'll say the third side that I really want to do, just because I'm passionate about it, is how to make more money, because some of us just don't make enough money in our careers. You may need to change careers. You may need to learn how to negotiate. We had a woman come on last week that talked about salary negotiation, business negotiation. She's negotiated 9 figures of contracts for the federal government, et cetera. We have all sorts of people coming on. So it's, again, one-time lifetime payment of $100. I personally believe if you're a wealth builder and you want to hear from our point of view, then the $100 is a drop in the bucket for all of the community that you get and the knowledge center that we have.
And I just want to clarify for Liz also, Cherie, that she, as I know personally, when you're in the UK, you can invest in US companies. So I know she started out saying she may not be able to invest in some of the companies, but you may want to double check that. I believe you will be able to. You couldn't raise money as an entrepreneur on the platform because you're not an American company, but as an investor, you can be outside of the country. So just double check the UK, but I'm fairly sure you don't have that limitation. I could be wrong, but I'm fairly sure that I'm not on this one.
Yeah. So Sally came back and said her question was in regards to the bank. So her original question is, if your bank then has several members, does everyone in your bank have to be a member individually, or are they members already through your bank? The answer is that is a legal question. And quite honestly, the lawyer probably will tell you during the session, every family bank is different. So you want to get legal counsel to know about your family bank. It could be a difference with the state that you live in, with the age of people that you have, with their income, all of those things. So another thing within the Family Wealth Challenge is it's going to be important for you not to just take everything that's said with and apply it to your family bank just broadly, right? You're going to have to take a step back and ask yourself, hey, is this something, we have a special situation. You may live in Detroit, but your great grandmother has 6 acres in South Carolina. Well, let me tell you, those types of situations, you probably want to have an attorney that's able to tell you the South Carolina law, the Michigan law. Your sister lives in Ohio, your cousin who also has a right and a claim to the 6 acres lives in California. then what do you do, right? So you do want to be smart about it, and ask for legal counsel based on your situation. Antoine has a very good question here. I hadn't really thought of it. Will you have a way to show and track families' growth and strategies monthly to see where they are in November 2021 to show how we are changing the wealth gap? So I will say we have, if crowdfunding occurs, we will have a way to look at something we call leakage in the Black community. Leakage is very simply, if you purchase something from a Black business, how long does that money stay in the community before it leaks out, before it goes to another community? Right now, the Black community has 98% leakage. I'll give you a great example, and it wasn't the person's fault, it just was the way that it was. We got 10K Project masks. We ordered those masks from a Black vendor. He had to go to Pakistan to get the mask fulfilled for us. That's immediate leakage. We want to track that. Okay, there are going to be a couple of other economic indicators that we will be tracking. I don't know if we'll be tracking on a family basis, but we will be tracking within the ecosystem to figure out what our leakage is and what we want it to be. And I will tell you right now, our economist is looking at a 25-year period. We're looking at what can we do over a generation to cut that 98% leakage down as much as possible. Tawan and Talisha, you two have been in the meetings the most with me with Eddie. Do you have anything extra for that?
I think it's also looking not only at that cost effective, but where are the industries? So it wasn't just about identifying the leakage as that number, but also where can we plug those holes? So it was looking for companies that had the greatest impact. So today I heard a statistic like we're spending $86 million as a community on bottled water. Why aren't we in that business? Something so innocuous, $86 million of bottled water that we spend. How is that impactful to us? Not just the logistics of it, but why aren't we in that industry? Why isn't there just a singular person making that investment into our business? And therefore us being the consumers of that specific business. So I think those are the kinds of things that we're looking at, just not to have business for business sake, but business that also has impact across the spectrum, that we can actually begin to look at it and say, let's address the leakage very much, I think, methodically, rather than just building a business without intent.
Absolutely. And that's one of the things that we asked Eddie about as well, was for us to have a real strategy. Now, we'll admit that that piece of it will be internal, a real strategy of what businesses and in what ratio do we want to have them. We have a few industries that we are really looking at. The industries will be public, but the ratios that we're going after, et cetera, those are the things that will be proprietary to us.
I like the idea of tracking goals being met and the family's accomplishments, but every family bank's going to be different, right? They're going to have different goals. They're going to have different missions. They're going to have different metrics that they're looking for. So it'd be nice to find a way to have them share their progress with us, but to put them on like a leaderboard or something like it's a competition, I would not like to see that, because their level of success is going to be at different paces and it's still success.
Yeah. And for some people, the success is, hey, we've got peace in our family because everyone has settled on what's going to happen when Aunt so-and-so dies and leaves the land. I know, for example, this is a white family, so, but it doesn't really matter. It happens in our community too. I know a family, there are 4 brothers. Their mother left them land in Southern Virginia. 2 brothers want to sell, 2 brothers want to keep it, and none of the brothers are talking to each other. For some of us, it's just peace with, and it's trickled down to the nephews and the nieces as well. And the nephew, one of the nephews was the one that contacted me and said, can you help me with the business plan? That was how I originally found out about this. Can you help me with the business plan for this? Because I have a vision for what we could do with this land where all of my uncles can get a distribution, and he couldn't get it started because the uncles weren't on one accord. So that's the reason, also the reason why I wanted to have Esther Boykin come, that family therapist, to really talk about how do you handle these things? Because sometimes mom and dad aren't the problem. So Nicole is asking, if I miss a masterclass, will there be a replay? There's always a replay, Nicole, always a replay. So
for those who are members.
Eric said they should tokenize the land. They can't even agree on the land. They not
That's what it's there for. I'm just telling you.
but I will tell you, there's so many industries out there that we don't even know about. My client wanted to grow these things called poppies that are used in the beer industry. I had never even heard of this, but apparently they would be the only farm in Virginia to grow poppies, and he wanted to provide the poppies to the Virginia microbreweries. The margins on it were like astronomical. And all of the uncles could have won. They all could have gotten a distribution check. And these are the types of businesses, quite frankly, that could come potentially, if I know not to say it for legal purposes, if we're approved. Those are the types of businesses that over the course of 10 years or 15 years, you come through here, you're going to see all sorts of stuff that you're going to be like, wow, I didn't even know that existed as an industry, you know?
Sheree, I'm sorry, like what
Yes,
happened
sir.
with that? No, like what happened with the poppy land?
Nothing happened. The uncles
Still don't talk.
never got on one accord. They never got on one accord. Yeah.
Unfortunate.
So
We won't miss that. We won't miss our opportunity. I didn't take
hope
it.
not.
Nope. We're gonna do better.
So I'm just reading through. We have 101 messages, everybody. So I'm probably not going to get through everything. But if it's super important, put it in the Q&A. Otherwise,
I've answered
we got 101 messages. I'm not going to be.
I'm about to say I've answered the majority of them, so they've been answered and addressed. There's only one last one in the Q&A, I think, and that is Miss Joyce.
Miss Joyce, yes, I don't know who that is. So if you would do an introduction and just let me know who she is as well. I don't know who this is, but thank you. Look, I will say this. I love introductions to anybody and everybody who could be a potential guest for us. They have knowledge, they have expertise in investments, in wealth building, in certain industries, etc. We want to know who they are, and we want to interview them because that's how you learn about so much stuff. So yes, please introduce away. Connie is saying this is the saddest part. This is the most important data about leakage down to 14%. Yeah, the leakage thing is so working with Eddie, and I knew a lot of stuff already, but I didn't know as much. Working with him and putting together this report has really opened my eyes about why we are so far behind as a Black community. It really has. One of the things that came up is the lack of what they call employer firms, meaning companies that hire people. The average Black, it doesn't matter that, for example, Black women are outpacing every other community when it comes to starting businesses if our average businesses are making $60,000 a year or less. Whereas other people, their average businesses are making $750,000, and they have on average 2 or more employees. So if we can have our companies get to that level and employ 2 to 10 additional people, we can at least get unemployment on par with everyone else. This is a major, major issue that we have. I also believe we can leverage a lot of these programs that we don't know about, which is why I'm so like, okay, I have to figure out between the SBA and all of these other programs, how do we, you know, work with some people, because we can't do it ourselves within 10K Project, but work with some people who can help our businesses take the community's money, leverage some outside resources, outside capital, venture capital, loans, etc., so that they really can make it, you know?
Mhm.
So,
Yeah.
Sandra's asking, how about weave hair? We've had this conversation before. I'm not gonna go into that.
Mhm.
Is there anything else, Talisha, Dr. Keisha, Eric, that you all see as a question or you want to comment on?
I believe I've answered everything that was in there. And I also posted again the book as well as the link to join the challenge.
I know I'm seeing two hands raised. Is that for, do we answer questions or do people have,
I just think people have hands raised. Yeah.
by mistake hands?
I think it may be mistake.
Okay. Oh yeah, one went down. Okay. And still.
So what do you think Mr. James Hughes Jr. is going to say when he looks at his statement from Amazon and sees all these extra books? He's going to wonder, what the heck happened? Who's talking about
Who
my
are
book?
these people?
We
gotta
should
bring
reach
him
out
on.
to him, because otherwise he's just going to be confused.
Well, I was wondering if he was even still alive, because when the last couple of, I looked on YouTube for videos of him, interviews, and he was pretty elderly at that time. So
Okay.
I haven't been able to figure out if he's even still alive. I know that there are other people that are like talking about the family wealth thing based on his book, but I'm not sure. So when I have more time, I will look. Maybe for February. Maybe for February. So
Somebody else can get on the job in the family.
yeah. So Kim is saying they have an entire network around this book that is a private wealth organizations. That is true. So that was some of the research that I was doing. Oh yeah. It's not what you know, it's not who you know, it's who knows you. So being able to be invited into these things, you know, yeah, and Vanessa Braxton, when she came, she talked about the fact that because she's invited into certain things, she gets to see immense, what do you call it, return on investment for certain opportunities that the average person doesn't get. And how all the athletes are in there trying to raise money, and like, you know, they're looking around like, oh my goodness, I didn't know this even existed. So yeah, so we've got to build up our network, but we can do it. All righty then. Well, you all have stuck with us. So Eric, you have any final words for the family?
You know what? I highlighted this before earlier, and once again, you know, I kind of go back to that point. You know, this year we had a real awakening, I believe, when it came down to Black economic self-sovereignty. But one of the things, you know, and of course, Black Wall Street became a major topic of conversation. And I talked about this before, that if you go back and really study Black Wall Street, and one of the things that you look at, those two gentlemen that came together to create it, it was incredibly intentional. They knew this is what they were doing. This was none of that, but was by accident when they looked around and there were, you know, the Black hotel here, and you know, the Black restaurant here, and the Black and you know, the Black laundromat, and all of these Black businesses thriving. This was an intentionality here. They knew this is exactly what we're going to do and what we're going to build. And I just say that about this and about this group and about this mission. There is a real strong intentionality in what we're looking to do and what we're looking to build here with everyone together.
I'd like to add to that too, just to say the intention is so much beyond just us. That's what really just touches my heart. It is so beyond just us, you know, me and mine and our, you know, my five kind of thing. It's truly a generational wealth goal and mission to what we're doing. So, that's why we have got to, each one reach one and each one teach one, and, be the ambassadors for this. Because, I just will not believe the narrative that there are just so few of us out there who really think this way. Many of us think this way. We got to find each other and come together and mobilize. And this is the place to do it. I'm excited.
Tawana, Talisha?
You go, Ms. Tawana.
I'll just say that, to Dr. Keisha's point, we're in this together. We have such an opportunity to make an impact. We think about the ultimate goal being a crowdfunding platform. We think about, from an investor standpoint, how we can help educate and bring opportunities to investors that allow them to change the trajectory of their family. And to that entrepreneur that's sitting somewhere struggling right now because all they need is X amount of money to get this thing to the next level, right? This amazing, innovative idea that they know is going to be the bomb idea, and they just don't have the money. And to know that as a community, how will affect their lives. And then thinking about this family bank challenge and how that kind of ties it all together, right? Because what it allows this family to be is an investor and a business, right? And so it ties it together to let them now, as a family unit, think about what the business of that family really can be. And the younger people within that family bank, listening to the ideas of the parents, and the parents listening to the ideas of the children, and really doing this collectively. So, for all of you who are interested in this Family Bank Challenge, I really would say to you, think about the structure of the family and how much you really want to accomplish, because you have the ability to change lives. One of the things that the Family Bank allows you to do is invest in the family, right? And invest in the people who are family members. And that could take this thing to a whole nother level. Sending kids to college, sending them to trade schools, opening businesses for family members. I mean, like, my head is mind blown, right? My family did something like this, but we truly just did an investment club. And a family bank is something very, very different, because it allows you to look at the future very, very differently and with wider opened eyes. And so, dream big is what I say on this. Dream big. Don't limit yourself.
Talisha?
The echo of the sentiments of the team. At this point, we are doing something. If this year showed us nothing but failure, how things fall apart very quickly. And in an instant, things change drastically. You have to have a plan in place. Some businesses were able to pivot, and beautifully pivot, to something that worked very well. We featured Ms. Vanessa Braxton, and she went from doing one thing to doing something very, very grateful, and still making a profit using her own. And that's really where this comes in. There has to be a level of ownership. There has to be a level of responsibility, and there has to be an ability to be agile. And all those things come from a solid wealth plan and solid financials. So this is where you get to decide how you want to move, not just, today or tomorrow, but for years and years to come. And it always has to start somewhere. So why not start now?
Yeah. And Liz, I see your question about the site not giving you the opportunity to say UK. So if you email me, I will connect you with Audrey. She is our website person, and she's probably the best person to answer that question for you. So Liz, just email me info.
Shouldn't tell her that if you're putting in the digits, it shouldn't really matter the actual part. It's not going to ask you for the residence. If it's asking you for your address, that may be the issue, that you'll have to have the address, but it should actually give you a drop down. If not, then we might need to have Audrey look at it, but I don't think there should be an issue with the payment.
Okay. All righty then. So thank you so much to everybody for joining us this evening. Please tell Lottie, Dottie, and everybody like-minded about the Family Wealth Challenge, FamilyWealthChallenge.black. That's FamilyWealthChallenge.black, FamilyWealthChallenge.black. Thank you so much to everybody. One final thing. We are going to be going live every day for the next 2.5 weeks promoting this. It'll probably be little short 30-minute, sessions. So y'all want to pop in, great. If you just want to share it on your live streams, you can do that as well. But we're really, really promoting this right now, getting as many people in as possible. So we just want to let you know we're going to be live a lot over the next 2.5 weeks. Okay.
All right.
Thank you, everybody.